first one up, we're just going to talk about the match, because before we talk about anything that happened during the match, can we just talk about how great that is? That is entertainment. That is must-watch television. That is what fans want to see during a sporting event. Having the athletes mic'd up, nobody else really interfering. We're just watching. You don't need to fill every single second of airtime with a word, a nonsense phrase that, when you're watching basketball, it's just like, oh my God, all right, yes, we see that. They're saying it, they're doing the play-by-play, and we get it. But at the same time, it's like, if I have the choice of listening of play-by-play or everybody mic'd up, I'm listening to everybody mic'd up. I do my own play-by-play. I'm watching it. I'm seeing what's happening. And, they do have some good commentary here and there. But overall, this is what I want to see. Just have the athletes mic'd up. And Phil Mickelson, folks, what a great... Oh, my God. I was loving it. I don't even watch golf like that. And I was enthralled all 5 hours up until the NBA Finals. And then we had to switch. I'm not watching the match over Game 1 of the NBA Finals. But I was loving it. I don't watch golf like that, folks. Masters, what's the other one? Masters? Is that the only golfing event? The U.S. Open. I don't watch that, folks. I don't really care. Maybe I'll watch the last hole. I'll follow it through Twitter. But I'm not watching golf like that. But I loved what I saw last night. Absolutely magnificent. Phil Mickelson really just kind of picking everybody's brain. Yo, tell me what you're seeing here. And that was absolutely great because, somebody that doesn't watch golf, or even people that do watch golf, they know all that terminology and lingo, and they're like, oh, wow, that's real smart. Maybe I wouldn't have done that, but, oh, wow, now that Phil Mickelson is kind of walking through it in his head, oh, now I understand why he's shooting it like that and what he's doing. So that was just absolutely fantastic last night. Truly, truly loved it, and that is how sports should be watched, folks. Fuck everybody else, mic up those athletes, everybody kind of having some playful fun. Now, the level of kind of competition was a little low. Obviously, this is a charity match. If you got into the sand pit, you were donating meals to the hungry. So it's like, you're going to be aiming for that a couple of times. So it'd be even more interesting if we're getting mic'd up athletes in like the finals. Could you imagine last night, Suns players? Could you imagine Chris Paul mic'd up going against Giannis, who did end up playing last night, and they're just kind of jawing back and forth on the floor in a high pressure, high competitive state? That would have been almost amazing to watch. I don't know. That probably would have been must-see TV, and I don't know if anything would have kind of lived up to that, honestly. So last night, the match, absolutely wonderfully done. Hearing just kind of the friendly banter back and forth, nothing ever got out of hand. It's all, hey, we're doing this for charity. We all know we're great. We're all successful in our own careers, and we're just having, a friendly, kind of decently competitive game out here. Loved all the back and forth. And kind of the second part of it of the announcers and, bringing in the guests, I think they did that perfectly as well. They didn't overdo it. Everything was kind of really kind of very lighthearted and just kind of very, I don't know another word, just light felt, having Chuck and all that and all the kind of, special guests come in for maybe a minute or 2 minutes, never overdoing it. Nobody was ever kind of competing for the spotlight. Not everybody was trying to overdo each other, updo each other. So once again, it was honestly, for how long as it went, it was like a 5-hour event, 5+ hour event. It was almost perfection, folks. It was absolutely fantastic. So that part of the tournament, the match, absolutely great. Now let's talk about the meat and potatoes, what was going on. So obviously Tom Brady had a stunt, and this is what I'm loving, folks. We're getting kind of hints and glimpses and little kind of peeks into evil Tom Brady, and that's what we've been looking for, folks. We want villain Brady out here. We want to see what he does. So, and what he says, and kind of because we know he's the greatest of all time. He's got nothing left to prove and nothing left to lose. So that's why we want to see Villain Brady. But he had to kind of go and stunt a little bit with his custom golf balls. He put all of his Super Bowl wins on his golf ball, folks, and he went a little bougie with it by doing the Roman numerals. Oh, yes, sir, folks. This is how you get it done. Yes, this is kind of the great kind of, playful disrespect. especially going against Aaron Rodgers, who that's kind of his shortcoming in his kind of career. The really only one Super Bowl win in appearance, where Tom Brady's got 7 rings, putting them all on there, folks. So once again, I'm loving kind of villain Tom Brady. These small, subtle digs, nothing over the top, even though we do wish he would go over the top a little bit. But that's how the kind of match started, seeing Tom Brady's golf balls, and we knew we were in for a treat ever since then. I got to get one of these golf balls, folks. I don't know, I'll just make it myself, whatever, but I need one of these golf balls here from Tom Brady. Absolutely fantastic. All right, what else did we get from the match? So another thing I kind of want to bring up really quickly is, I got to give a ton of props to Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he had one dig at the Packers organization, and we were running odds on our Twitter page on how many digs Aaron Rodgers would have during the match. We had 2 digs at -150, 3 digs at -110, 4 digs at +130, 5 digs at +180, 6 digs at +220, and 7 or more at +280. And I didn't count any digs. There was other people doing the digging for him a little bit, and we're going to talk about that in a second as well. But overall, Aaron Rodgers, I got to give the man some credit and some respect. He didn't use this kind of the match platform to get in the digs, the kind of old, tired digs we've already seen. Now, we did kind of get all those digs during kind of the press conferences. We even, during the press conferences, that's really when all the digs came out. So, maybe he was over the digs at the actual green and actually golfing. So for that, I definitely respect Aaron Rodgers for that. Everything Aaron Rodgers did yesterday, I give him a ton of respect, because everybody was trying to pry out some information on what's going to happen with him and the Packers this season. And, he kept cool. He kept it kind of lighthearted, and he kind of just dodged the question. So I'm giving a ton of respect and credit for Aaron Rodgers yesterday, knowing this was going to be a highly this is the only thing we have to talk about Aaron Rodgers. No, we all know he's a great thrower of the football. We all know that. It's just, is he going to play? Is he actually going to hold out? And what's kind of the big deal between him and the organization? That's the only thing we really have to talk about for Aaron Rodgers. And he knows this, folks. He knows this is going to be highly talked about or even thought about. It's just depending on, is anybody actually going to go out there and say that to the man, which they actually did. But he kept cool, calm, collected. So I give the man a ton of credit. We don't bash Aaron Rodgers. I know it sounds like we bash Aaron Rodgers and dig and constantly knock on Aaron Rodgers, but it's not like we're not doing it just to do it. We're doing it just because of how elevated he is in the stratosphere of greatest of all time, folks. We're not gonna, we love what he does on the football field. We love how he throws the football. It's fantastic. But the fact that he's just so elevated and can do no wrong, we're not gonna kind of baby Aaron Rodgers. And if you're gonna hold him up to the greatest of all time standard, we're gonna also do the same. You can't just kind of, pick and choose which battles you want to talk about at greatest of all time. You have to take the good with the bad. That's LeBron James. Everybody harps on that 2012 finals against the Mavs, losing that. He should have never lost that finals. And that kind of, once again, it's a big knock on his greatest of all time argument, and it should be. That should be weighed, that should be kind of debated and talked about, but nobody ever brings up the bad stuff of Aaron Rodgers, folks. And I'm not doing it. I'm not knocking Aaron Rodgers just to knock Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kind of giving the whole picture here, because we've seen somebody set the bar so high, in the fact that Aaron Rodgers isn't living up to that high bar, and it's kind of no fault of his own. Like I said, Tom Brady has this organization out of whack, folks. He's got the entire league out of whack. Every kind of stat and every criteria that kind of you have to check for greatest of all time, Tom Brady just took that checklist and ran 1,000 miles down the road, and now we don't even know where it is. And we've got he stole our only stat sheet, folks. He stole our only one stat chart that is kind of doable for greatest of all time, and now we don't know what the hell to think anymore, because we got somebody that did it, but nobody else has been able to do it. So we have to give Tom Brady so much more credit in the fact that we're trying to kind of we're trying to make every piece of Aaron Rodgers' career as a positive to try to give him credit to try to compete with Tom Brady. I just can't get behind that 100%. So I call out some things that should be called out and talked about, and we can talk about them. Yeah, let's debate. Let's talk about it. But nobody wants to talk about it. That's the problem with Aaron Rodgers. Nobody wants to bring up the bad things about Aaron Rodgers. And if you do, you're gone. Like I'm getting gone right here, folks. The notifications keep running in here on Twitter, and we're going to talk about it. I'm interested to see what all these notifications are. I'm actually not. I really don't want to see it. I should have just muted the conversation, but I thought I'd bring it up here on the show today since we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. So I give a lot of credit to Aaron Rodgers last night. Let's bring it all back to that. I'm giving so much credit to Aaron Rodgers, keeping a cool level head of everybody trying to get in the digs. Everyone was kind of doing the digging for Aaron Rodgers, and he doesn't need y'all to do the digs for him. He'll do the digs himself if he wants to. So he kept cool on that. And then also kind of towards the end of the match, Aaron Rodgers, the kind of the analysts that were doing it, they tried to get in deep. They were trying to kind of, try to kind of force it out. And it was kind of like a full minute out of like, Aaron Rodgers, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And he avoided it perfectly. So once again, I'm not always knocking Aaron Rodgers. I'll give him credit where credit is due, folks. I've got no problem doing that. That's what we do here on the show. I'm not knocking just to knock. I'm not giving credit just to give credit. I'm judging y'all how I see it. And I think it's pretty fair. I think it's probably the most fair and kind of honest and non-biased opinion in the entire sports media. Not to inflate my own head, but I kind of think so. So 100% credit to Aaron Rodgers last night. Absolutely well done. All right, now let's get back to some kind of digs that we're throwing out there. So Gronk ended up joining the call, and that's what I loved about this. I mean, they were all wearing like one AirPod, getting in the call, hearing what everybody was saying. It was just, folks, everything was about this was perfectly executed. I loved every second of this. I taped it. I'm going to rewatch it today in its entirety. No fast forward. I'm even watching the commercials, folks. I don't care. No fast forward. I'll watch it for 5-6 hours straight. I'm watching this shit again. It's fantastic. But here we go. So Gronk joins the call here, and Brady to Gronk, quote, "I hope you're not at the beach too much. You ready?" Because, I mean, they're trying to run it back there in Tampa Bay. And Gronk says, "I'm wondering if you're ready. You missed OTAs. You're out golfing now." And I don't know if that was a subtle dig to kind of Aaron Rodgers, because, once again, he missed OTAs and mandatory minicamps, and now he's golfing. So that probably wasn't the best thing for Gronk to say in this time. But we can forgive Gronk. He most likely didn't mean any harm by this. And then Brady says, "I'm studying my competition. I'm 30 yards away from Aaron, the leader of the Packers, I think." So that was, once again, they were getting, Tom Brady was kind of doing the subtle digs here. And this is what we've kind of been talking about with Tom Brady here. He's digging in on Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know if it's 100% Smurfy. I kind of think it's like maybe 60% Smurfy, 40% I'm getting these digs in. He will never be better than me. Tom Brady, know he will never be better than me. I beat him head to head. He'll never touch my greatness legacy. So I'm going to kind of poke and go a little extra deep, and hey, I can just write it off. Hey, I'm Tom Brady. I've always been a little Smurfy. I've always been a little I've never been the villain. I've always been the good guy Brady. So he's kind of disguising it, I think a little bit villainous tone out here with some of these digs that he's saying about Aaron Rodgers of, hey, I think he's the leader of the Packers. I don't know. He's going to hold out. I never did that. I never held out, but he's holding out, and I never did that. The greatest of all times don't hold out, but hey, I think he's the leader of the Packers. So that was kind of the first one that we heard, or one of them at least. I don't know about the order in these. So that was kind of the first thing there. And Aaron Rodgers kept his cool, didn't really kind of make a big remark out of it. Didn't be like, "Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't even know. Oh, I'm here. The Packers just need to call me." There was no kind of rebuttal here from Aaron Rodgers. So once again, no quick like the Jeopardy answer and all that. So once again, more credit and more respect to Aaron Rodgers. All right, what else did we get here? So Rob Gronkowski on Aaron Rodgers, he says, quote, once again, Rob Gronkowski joining the call says, "Aaron looks more lazy now than I did in retirement." And once again, Gronk was going a little hard on Aaron Rodgers out here. And we just heard the entire story of Aaron Rodgers is trying to work on his mental health. And everybody's out here, throwing digs at him. And they kind of, match. We're at golf. We're not talking about football. But that topic was still getting brought up. So that's why I'm giving Aaron Rodgers a ton of credit for how he handled it. He handled it like a true pro. So I give him all the respect he deserves, folks. So we had that little dig. But then what did Aaron Rodgers do? He took all of that and he hit the game-winning shot, folks. I think they were already up. Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau, they were already up by a couple of holes, but this last shot by Aaron Rodgers sealed it. This nice little, I'll say 8-foot, no, probably 5-foot putt here, maybe 5, 6, 7-ish, 7 max foot putt here, and he just goes and drains it, and it's absolutely fantastic. So Aaron Rodgers being clutch, hey, I'm all about that, folks, and that's kind of, Aaron Rodgers, what he says, hey, if it was just me out there by myself, I would win every single year, every single Super Bowl because I'm that great. And that's exactly what it showed out here during the match. Clutch putt to end the game, to win the match, and it all came down to Aaron Rodgers, and he sunk it absolutely perfectly. And another reason I can get behind Aaron Rodgers a little bit here is because after he made the putt, he let out a big, yes, sir! Yes, sir! Like, this is still kind of competition. You're still going against people. You're still treating this as high level of competition, and for that, I can once again respect Aaron Rodgers 100% for that. I love that. Yes, sir. Woo! Baby, let's go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Aaron Rodgers hitting the final putt. So I love that. The big yes, sir, at the end. Give Aaron Rodgers some credit. Now, I don't want to kind of, be negative and talk about this, but I'm going to have to be a little negative and talk about this. Aaron Rodgers, getting hype on a kind of, overall meaningless golf match. You have to have that same attitude when you're facing Tom Brady. Why couldn't you get up to that kind of, yes, sir, during the NFC Championship game? Come on, Aaron. That's, we would have no problem calling you the GOAT, but you have to go out there and prove it on the football field. That's what we want to see. Yeah, it's great that you won a golf match against Tom Brady, but is anybody going to be talking about this? After next week, this is done. Nobody's talking about this more after the end of this week. By Friday, nobody will bring up the match ever again. So it's just like, yeah, I'm glad that, you rose to the occasion here, but we really want to see you rise to the occasion on the football field, folks. So Aaron Rodgers, game-winning putt. I guess we respect it a little bit. All right, now let's talk about this because this is where it came up. About a full minute of just kind of harping on what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. One of the kind of analysis of like, are you going to be there week 1 against the Saints? And he's just like, let me see. Hang on. Let me see what it says here. He says, so they're like, are you going to be there week 1 against the Saints? He's like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So once again, just dodging and not giving any insight one way, not taking a dig at the Packers, be like, well, if they got me help, yeah, I'd be there. He never said anything like that. It was just kind of, yeah, we'll see. And then, the other announcer comes in and kind of, once again, hey, I'm your pal. And then Chuck comes in and was like, hey, you can trust me. I won't say anything. You could talk to me. So this was about a full minute kind of exchange here of trying to pry out some information of Aaron Rodgers. And we know he doesn't kind of, talk about this publicly. We do know that Aaron Rodgers is internal. That's why, the little, lighthearted joke that we call him Turtle Rodgers a little bit. He does kind of keep everything internal, so he doesn't kind of talk about his plans like this, and he's definitely not going to do it here on the match. I mean, this is just not the time to do so. It would have been great if we got some insight, but we kind of expected we weren't going to get anything. So once again, just Aaron Rodgers holding his cool, dodging the questions, having a smile on his face while he's answering, and just kind of, brushing it off. And so once again, we do give a lot of credit to Aaron Rodgers truly on how he handled this. So very well done there. Alrighty, so that was the match last night. It was great, folks. It was great. I'm a little disappointed. We bet on Tom Brady to get it done, and he didn't get it done. So Aaron Rodgers is the better golfer than Tom Brady. We can kind of conclude that. But one's got 7 championship rings and one's got 1. So I'll take the work on the football field. So that was the match last night. Absolutely very fantastic. Loved every second of it, and we'll see what the next match is going to be, and if we can get behind it. Alrighty, before we move off the topic of Aaron Rodgers in the match and all that, let's talk about this first, and then we'll talk about our Twitter engagement going on. But, so, what we've kind of been talking about. You could still opt out of the NFL season this season because of COVID. If you opt out, you wouldn't get anything. But if you are a high risk and you opt out, a high risk for COVID, and you opt out, then you would get kind of a monthly stipend of pretty solid money. I think we were talking about like $150,000, something like that. So nobody opted out of the NFL season this season, folks. So that's absolutely great. Like last year, a lot of kind of players did. A lot of the Patriots defense did. I think we had about 20 players maybe overall throughout the NFL opt out of the season last year. But nobody decided to take that route this year. So once again, we bring this back to Aaron Rodgers. He's in this kind of situation between him and the Packers, where we don't know what's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers wants to hold out. The Packers aren't really willing or looking into trading him, and we're in this limbo of we don't know what's going on with the Packers at quarterback this season. So we were kind of thinking if Aaron Rodgers truly wanted to hold out here, that he would opt out of this season. Hey, I'm just going to sit out because of COVID. I'll let y'all are going to do what y'all are going to do. And, I just don't respect the organization anymore. I'm truly done with the organization. And if that means I can't play football this year, well, so be it. But I'm going to opt out. So it's not kind of a black mark on me. I'm just opting out because of COVID. You can't put any blame on me. I would have respected Aaron Rodgers a whole lot if he did that, because that would have took massive balls to do that. And like we said, everybody kind of wanted to have it both ways. Like we've been saying, folks, we brought this up yesterday when we were talking about like mental health and all that. It's unfortunate that these athletes and famous people have to be thrown into the spotlight, but that's where money is made, and that's why they are able to get paid all that money. You have to kind of take the criticism if you put yourself out there. We put ourselves out there. You can criticize us. We've got no problem with that. We are actively putting our opinion out there. We have to be able to you don't have to accept the criticism, but you do have to kind of accept the fact that criticism will be thrown in your direction, whether good or bad, whatever it is. You put yourself out there, you open yourself up for that criticism. It's unfortunate, but that is unfortunately how it kind of works. So we would have respected Aaron Rodgers a ton if he opted out of the season. Athletes, everybody, Kyrie Irving, he's like, hey, I want to be an athlete and I want to be in the limelight and get all this money, but I don't want to be criticized. And if you criticize me or talk about me, then, you're in the wrong and, you're racist and, you're this, you're that. You're out of your gourd for even thinking you could kind of critique me. It's just what comes with the territory, folks. It's just unfortunate. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. He tries to have this as well. He's like, when we talked about his kind of, mental health statement the other day, he was like, it's been great for just kind of taking this time for me. I'm not in the spotlight. But once again, he's kind of hailed as one of the greatest of all time, folks. You are definitely going to be in the spotlight of that time. You're going to be talked forever. You're going to be talked about forever, Aaron Rodgers. And there's really, unfortunately, nothing you can do about this. If you want to be in the greatest of all time category, people will be talking about you 20 years down the line, 50 years down the line, 100 years down the line, when you're dead and gone and your kids are now talking about, football and sports and the greatest of all time. They're still going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers because he was so great. So it's unfortunate that that's just the price that you have to pay for being in the spotlight. So I would have respected him 100% of just being like, you know what, I don't need this. I'm going to opt out. I'm going to take myself out of the spotlight, out of the limelight for a year, and we'll see what happens in this year's time. But now, once again, he declined to opt out. Nobody opted out of this season. So once again, he's still a little bit in the limelight. Him taking the match. He decided to do this, folks. He was not forced to do this. This was an opportunity. Hey, you want to go, golf against Tom Brady? Yeah, sure. You're still kind of putting yourself decently in the spotlight as well. So once again, you can't have it both ways, and we'll see what Aaron Rodgers' final decision is. Does he attend training camp at the end of this month for training camp, or is he truly gonna hold out and just be like, hey, I'm holding firm in my beliefs. I don't respect this organization anymore. I've made my money. I'm good. I don't need y'all anymore. And you can either trade me or not, but I'm not playing for y'all. So once again, are you truly firm in your beliefs? Because, hey, We talk about it. Andrew Luck, folks. I can't even tell you how much credit I give that man for. Hey, this is what happens with injuries in the NFL. It kind of ruins my life after football. I don't want to be 35, 40 years old and have no kind of quality of life because of these injuries. I'm going to peace out. Thanks for the contract. I was playing at the highest level. I was great, folks. Andrew Luck could have been, mentioned in the greatest of all time category. At least top 5, maybe at least top 10, maybe top 5 if he played out his entire career. But what did he do? He was like, you know what? I don't need this. I've made my money. I'm not here for the injuries. I'm out. And I respect him 100%. Or you could be like Kawhi Leonard. Don't put yourself out there. Don't say anything interesting. And the media just kind of leaves you alone. Kawhi Leonard's playing at a high level. He's regarded as kind of top 5 in the league right now. And nobody talks about him because he doesn't kind of say anything to the media. Real minimalistic talking. There's options to not be in the spotlight, folks. That's the entire point we're talking about, truly. There are ways to kind of try to get around the limelight if you truly do not want to be in the limelight. But everybody that says they don't want to be in the limelight has kind of everything controversial and says things that, people that don't actually want to be in the limelight wouldn't be saying, but then they do say those things. So that's kind of, what we're saying here, and he does not opt out of the 2021 season. So we'll see what he does. He does kind of still want to be in the spotlight a little bit, folks, a little bit.